An African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. On today's episode, I am talking about hiring. What do you need in your business now? How to figure that out, and when you should actually hire. You have the power to be the boss of your own life. I'm your host, Monica Allen. I'm a wife, mom, entrepreneur, best-selling author, lifelong learner, and your biz bestie. I have a love and passion for all things small business. Growing my own company from $700 to over 7 figures annually, my goal is to bring you inspiration, business-focused topics and tips, encouragement, and a community that helps you launch, grow, and scale your business, whether you are a dreamer, a side hustler, or a seasoned entrepreneur. You are listening to the Become Your Own Boss podcast. Do you have a conference or an event to attend and you just need 1 or 2 shirts to promote your company or brand? Here at Zeus's Closet, where we are like a tattoo shop for your clothes, we've got you covered. With no order minimums on embroidery or direct to garment, you can order just 1 item. Get a polo shirt for a conference or a t-shirt or jersey for a concert. Visit Zeus'sCloset.com for more information. Lately, I have been doing a lot of interviewing because we have had 2 positions that we've needed to fill. And just last week on my episode with Clara Baldwin, she talked about her growing team of 50 people. And to think about bringing on 50 people, there's certain things that you really need to think about as you begin to hire people. And so that's what I want to talk about today. If you want to grow your business, you will have to bring someone else into your business. As you hire or think about bringing more people into your company, I want to share with you a few of the things that I've learned along the way. And the first thing is to determine exactly what you need. What I mean by that is you need to sit down and write down every single thing that you need help with, every single thing that you would like to pass on to someone else. Perhaps it's something you don't feel like you're very good at. Perhaps it's something that you just don't enjoy, but you want to write all of the things down. And why do you do this? You want to do this so you can create a job description for the person that you are hiring. So that's your first step, is to determine exactly what you need. You can also get some help with this by Googling specific job descriptions and seeing what responsibilities typically fall under that job description. This is also important because ideally you want to know approximately how much that position pays as well. So you make sure that you set your pay correctly. And we'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. Now, once you have your job description, the next thing you want to do is determine what will work best for your company. Do you need someone that's part-time, full-time? Could a contractor fill this position? Do you need a virtual assistant? You will need to decide what will work best for you. Will they work remotely? Do they need to be in your building or in your home, depending on where your business is set up? When you start out, it may be that you simply need someone part-time. You need someone to take a few hours off of your plate. So maybe 15 hours, 20 hours. Typically anything less than 30 hours is considered part-time. Anything over 30 hours is considered full-time. So again, you have to determine what will work best for your company. If you're looking at a contractor, there is specific criteria for that. And you want to make sure that you're in line with that, because contracting can be a little difficult if they're using your equipment or naming someone as a contractor. So you really want to get clear on that and understand what their roles and responsibilities would be. A lot of times, to really stay clear in the contracting realm, is if that person has their own company, then they could be a contractor for you. And then, of course, virtual assistants, they are everywhere. There are companies that have virtual assistants for your business. There are individuals who are sole proprietors out there operating as virtual assistants. So finding a virtual assistant is not very difficult. However, you want to make sure, again, that you have a job description in place, even for a virtual assistant. Now, once you've determined exactly what you need by making a job description, you've also determined what you best need, part-time, full-time, contractor, VA. You then need to decide what will be the best hiring process. Do you want to utilize a software for hiring? We use Hireology in our company. Do you want to use a headhunter? Depending on what your role is, you may want to do that, or recruiter. There's also ZipRecruiter. There's lots of different things that you can use, but you want to figure out what your process is going to be. And in that process, what questions are you asking? You want to make sure that you're able to compare apples to apples and not apples to oranges. So you want to ask all of your candidates the same questions so you can compare the answers. You want to make sure they take the same assessments, surveys, whatever it is that you're doing. You want to make sure that you're doing that across the board. You also want to make sure you are aware of the questions that you cannot ask, such as, are you married? Do you have kids? You cannot legally ask those types of questions. Of course, if you're using a specific software program, they are not going to have those types of questions in that program, so you don't have to worry about it. But you do want to be aware of those questions. Another thing that I want you to do is, once you have a base of what you want to pay the person for the position that they're filling, you want to begin actually paying the person that doesn't exist yet. You want to pay them by simply putting this money aside into a separate account each pay period. So if it's just you and someone else, you're already on payroll and you're bringing on someone new, then you want to begin to set aside the amount that you would pay this person. And why do you do this? One, you do this because you get used to it showing up. You get used to that amount of money being subtracted from your operating capital. And then two, you begin to set up a reserve account. Should something happen, should something change, and you need to have money to continue to keep that person on your payroll for a little bit of time, you will have a bucket of money to pull from should you need that. And my last thought for you is this. First, it can be difficult to know exactly when to hire, but one of the biggest lessons I've learned is not to wait until hiring is critical. You have a critical need for this new hire, because what I have found is when we're in that situation, we make bad hiring decisions. And so to avoid that, it's great if you can get ahead of you needing to hire someone. So if you see that the work is ramping up, you see that you have new clients coming, you really want to make sure that you have someone in place and you can have a great bandwidth of time to interview, to do background checks, to do the assessments, to do all the things to make sure that you make a proper hire for your business. The first person we hired, though it worked out well, he stayed with us for a couple of years, but we hired him because we were going on a trip for my birthday and we needed to still produce orders. So Ethan literally interviewed someone, hired him the same day, and began training him all in the same day. Not to say that that was horrible, because at the time it really wasn't. He worked out. He was a great, great person. But we did not really give ourselves the time and the bandwidth to do a proper search. And we've learned that over time. We have learned that we really need time to interview someone properly, because we've made decisions like that and done that in the past. And it actually hasn't worked out as well as it worked out with our first employee. So try not to wait until you're at critical mass and you're in a hurry to hire, because you won't always make the best decisions when you're in that situation. You're just trying to move it into someone else's hands, get it off your plate, and they really might not be the right person in the right seat on the bus. The truth is, if you wish to grow your business and not be a solopreneur, which there is nothing wrong with, but as one person, you can only handle so much. You only have so much bandwidth. If you want to take your company further, you will have to let some tasks go. Some responsibilities you'll have to pass on to someone else and hire. I can tell you from experience that when you make a good and right decision in the hiring process, the relief and quality of life is unbelievable. On October 22nd here in Atlanta, I will be hosting my first in-person class around starting your own business called The Freedom Formula. I will share with you the steps I took to create a side hustle, ultimately jumping into full-time business ownership and a life that I love. If you or someone you know is interested in joining me, you can go to my website, monicaallen.com/freedom formula and get signed up. The link is in the show notes as well. The early bird price is $198 until September 30th. Because this is a passion of mine, the cost is minimal and space is limited. I really want to give my time to all participants, discussing the details of their business idea and giving you feedback and helping you get going. I want to see more successful businesses that beat the failure statistics that we so often hear about. Thank you for listening today. I am grateful for you. Join me on Instagram and TikTok for continued daily tips and inspiration around starting and growing your business. Both handles are at Become Your Own Boss Podcast. Also, if you don't mind, take a moment to rate, share, and leave a review for the podcast. Now is the time. Now is the time to level up, leave a legacy, and become your own boss.